I'm Nathan from Nathaniel MG in Bridgend in Cardiff, and I'm here with Joe and Anne, and they're going to tell us a little bit more about the EV that they've just had. So guys, you took delivery of this car how long ago roughly?
November the 5th.
One fine night.
And how many miles have you done so far in the car?
648.
Okay, and we're just really curious because there's a lot of things on forums, there's a lot of things on the internet, and really what we wanted to do was just chat to real people with a real car about some real experience of driving this car for a couple of months. So really, to start at the beginning, where would you say you guys, what made you think, right, we're going to go electric, we would like an electric car?
Well, I think everyone is going to go electric eventually, and now is the time to start making the change. Yeah, the governments are going to start cutting off petrol and diesel cars from city centres. The environment, we need to do something about it. The amount of pollution that's out there, we need to do something about it. So to buy an electric car, we thought, why not? It's the right thing to do. And more people are going to do this one way or another. Even our neighbours, when we drove up in the car, said, oh yeah, we'll all have to do that eventually. So for us, you know, eventually is now. We might as well just get on with it. And it's a great car.
It is. It's a lovely car.
Well,
something
that you told me earlier when we were chatting that really interested me was a lot of people think to have an electric car, they must have an electric charge point at home, a special Type 2 charger. But you guys have had it 2.5 months and you've not got one at home now? You charge it?
Nope.
Tell us more about that.
I mean, we are essentially using the car to go back and forward to Tesco's and the gym, and we do the odd run to see the grandchildren, which is 75 miles an hour, 75 miles down the motorway. So we really don't need to charge, fully charge the car every night. In fact, we almost could get away with charging the car once a month if we had to, because the 3-pin socket, we have a 3-pin socket outside the house that we put in when we built the house, and we just plug in the 3-pin socket. It charges overnight. We get 160 miles plus out of that, and when we get back the following morning, and that 160 miles will do us 2 or 3 weeks. It's not a problem. We don't need rapid charging. We don't need fast charging. The battery on this thing does everything we want it to do. So even though we had the free offer from MG, we looked long and hard at that, and looking at our pattern of using the car, we thought we don't need that, even though it was a free offer, it was a nice free offer. So if you're only using the car to do the school run, to run to the shops, and maybe the occasional trip to see the granny, why do you need a rapid charger? Overnight it'll charge in 8 to 10 hours from something like 20 or 30% to fully 100% charged, and off you go again. It's not a problem.
So have you found that you've made much difference in your fuel bill because you were running a petrol or a diesel car before?
I have run this car for 2.5 months at a total fuel cost of £3.
Really?
And I can prove it, Nathan, because this is the log, and everything is written in the log. So you have all the details of every time it was charged, all written in here, and these are the calculation of the charging, the cost issues. £3 has cost me 2.5 months, and that included doing 4 75-mile trips.
When we've used a pod point charger, when we've gone away.
The hotel gave us a free charge.
So it's cost you £3 per month?
No, £3 total for 2.5 months. So, it's insane. It's insane.
And I've been in the trade for 21 years, and genuinely,
that.
I'm a bit taken back. So, how much are you averaging per charge then?
Well, our unit price of kilowatts is 12p. So if I even put 40 kilowatts in it, you do the sums.
Yeah.
And if you go up to Tesco's, there's a free pod point there. If I go to a hotel and book into a hotel overnight, I get a free charge there.
Yeah, true.
So it is absolutely the least expensive way to drive a car today is to drive on electric power. Yeah.
And I know that the cost was a factor, but I also know the environmental element was a big deal to both of you.
It's
wasn't
huge
it?
for both of us. We were totally convinced that we need to do something, even at our advanced old age. We need to do something for the grandkids. Otherwise, if we believe the prophets of doom, the grandkids has no future. So this is our small contribution. It's a tiny contribution in the overall scheme of things. But if more and more and more people do this, the contribution we make to the environment is massive. Can you imagine?
Change, big difference.
Yeah,
Can you-
we show other people, and then they get one, and so it multiplies.
Yeah. So one of the things that we talked about when you were looking to purchase the car was you've driven lots of different cars, petrol, diesel, different types of cars over the years. Putting the electrification and the technology to one side a minute, how do you actually find it as a car in terms of build quality?
Well, the first thing to say about it is just a car. I mean, the fact that it's electric technology under the bonnet is irrelevant. Yeah, I mean, okay, in the past I had cars, I rallied cars, so I was interested in valves and tappets and carburetors and that kind of stuff. But for most people, they've no interest in what's under the bonnet. So why would they have any interest in what's under the bonnet of this car just because it's electric? Oh, the running costs are ridiculously cheap. The insurance, everyone was very worried that the insurance would go through the roof, because the example of the other main electric car out there is very expensive to repair because the body panels are aluminium. So the loading on that from an insurance point of view is enormous. But the insurance group of this car, the electric car, and the equivalent petrol car are exactly the same. So our insurance didn't change.
Yeah, and again, I think a lot of that is the kind of the fear factor of the unknown, and that's why it's so interesting to speak to you guys, because you're the reality of that, and you've actually taken the plunge to go and purchase the car rather than being afraid because you've believed some of the myths.
So for the money, I've lost count of the number of people who told me that for the money is the best value car on the road today. And I know you're a car salesman, and I know you love to hear this, but it is the absolute truth. It's the best value car on the road today, and it's electric.
And I think a 7-year warranty is a big step forward.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Because a lot of people, it gives the peace of mind that for the next 7 years, everything is covered, including the battery, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's fun to drive as well. I mean, it's very nippy, sort of from takeoff. It's sort of just a good little car.
And I think, as Joe said earlier, that's the thing that may surprise people. It's just a car.
Yeah.
It's not. It's slightly different to most cars, but it's just a car at the end of the day. It does
At
the
the
same
end of the
job
day,
in
it's
the
just a
same
car
way.
and does the same job as a car. Yeah. And what more do you want from a car? It's extremely economical to run. It's costing us virtually nothing to run it. It takes us anywhere we want to go. We're even planning to go to the south of France in a month's time, and it doesn't bother us. We know the car can do this. Yet, if you listen to the people talking on the forums and various places on Facebook, you'd think this was, back to the days of the horse and buggy. It's not. This is the most technically advanced MG I have ever driven, and I have driven some MGs in the past.
With some of the safety features that you can use on the motorway, the what do you call it, adaptive cruise control, and the lane keeping.
There's some of the things that you guys have both been using then,
yeah on more on the motorway than just driving around town, but sort of it keeps you at a safe distance from the car behind. As a car pulls in sharp down the slip road, it backs off. There's a lot of safety features, and because you've set the speed, there's no temptation to put your foot on the accelerator, and
therefore getting greater range from the battery as well.
Being more cost efficient as well.
Would you, being really honest, would you say you're clearly, and we're chuffed to see that you're so happy with it? Are there things that maybe you're not so happy with in the first 2 months? Some niggles that you aren't 100% happy with the car?
I really don't think that we have any niggles as such. One of the things I did was I put a tiny little torch into the the charging port so that I could see the thing in the dark, because my eyes are not great at my age. But apart from that, I can't see anything I'd realistically want to change. Sure, there'll be software updates in due course, and MG might well decide it wants to add more features or less features. I really can't see anything I'd want to change.
Good.
No, I mean, we've used the nav system as well. That's all fine. That's all great. Everything.
One message on the forum said that some guy had been using Google on CarPlay, and the thing took him down a blind alley, whereas the sat nav on this has never done that. And he's doing 1,000 miles a week of work driving in it. So
Good.
I can't see anything that needs to be changed. People go on about the bongs. Do you want to get the bong issue?
Yeah.
I think it needs more bongs.
So just to elaborate, that everybody that's watching this, the bongs are basically the noises.
Not sure I can make a bong.
Okay.
See if I can make a bong.
Turn it off and on again.
Yeah, that's
Those are the bongs.
them's the bongs. They're not that loud.
No.
Oh. I mean, we're having a conversation right now, and there's
these
bonging
bongs,
away.
yeah.
They're bonging away.
And when
it's
you
not that
know,
loud.
to begin with, you think, oh, what have I done wrong? But when you know what they're there for,
It's just telling you that what yeah.
what's
So the bongs basically are there to
status.
tell you.
Auditory reminders that something is happening. Pay attention. And what's not to like about that when you're driving down a motorway in the UK these days? The one thing I would recommend is the little yellow light comes on for the blind spot monitoring, and there's no bong for that. It's the only message in the car that doesn't have an attached bong, and there should be a bong for that, because if you're driving up close like this, you just won't see it in the corner of your eye. If you're pushed right back, you will, but if you're up quite close, you won't. So I think
Maybe you could have a noise
or
on
a
the
ding
bong
of
for
some
that.
sort
Yeah.
to tell you that I've detected something in your blind. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, kind of stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only change I can see that I'd want to make. Well, what's not to enjoy about the roof? I mean, if you just look behind me here, the entire panoramic. Yeah, and then I push that button there, you can hear it. I don't know if you can see it, and then you twist that, and the thing just pops in and goes away.
I think you
can
just
see it
about,
sliding away.
Just about see
Yeah,
that there.
it is an incredible piece of technology, and it's very, very quiet. You can hardly hear the noise of the motor.
For a sunny day, not today.
Yeah, not many of those unfortunately, but it does let a lot more light
It
in the
lets a
cabin.
lot
more
It
light
a hell of a
in,
lot more light. Yeah.
And there's one other thing I think you should tell your potential customers. When they step into this car, they're stepping into a time machine. They're driving in the future. A future where road transport is not dishing out fumes and pollution anymore. So this is a time machine. You're stepping into the future.
Like Back to the Future. Well, thank you very much both for that. Really appreciate your comments.
You're very
and
welcome. Thanks
it'd
for
be really
inviting me.
good to speak to you both after your trip to the south of France.
Oh, you'll get a lot more back from us then.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.